What's going on, chat? Shout out to all my slimes in attendance. Y'all hit that like button. Grab a chair. We got some important shit to talk about today. One second, let me fix this chat. Here we go. Alright, gang. So, y'all know Lil Durk's trial has started the other day. Not even half of the evidence was released. Some leaked phone records also, allegedly. And just me taking a quick glance at that court evidence, I've seen a few things that goes against everything OTF Vonni's dad was pretty much sitting down, telling Trenches News, etc., telling this blogger that, saying King Von did this, saying Lil Durk did this, saying his son did that. Mind you, not a lick of evidence, not a text message, nothing to prove any of this stuff that this man says. So I'm going to show you a few things that was leaked since this trial started, which was about yesterday, of Lil Durk's text messages that goes against what OTF Vonni's dad was telling us, which he was pretty much giving us his word that this is how things went down. Which still ain't make a lot of sense because, brother, you talking about you telling on your son because of blood money and etc., etc. First of all, you a Muslim. Why you even want to accept blood money? That don't sound right. First of all. But anyways, let's get into it. So, I find it funny since the trial has started yesterday and this evidence was released, you don't see OTF Vonni anymore on the internet on your front page. You don't see anybody bringing this up or talking about it. But now I'm going to call him out for it. Trenches News, you need to get him in another interview, ask him these questions or something, because it ain't mathing up. So let me show you what we got from the court documents. So first of all, they got Lil Durk's cell phone. They got possession of Lil Durk's cell phone. So, you know, they went through it, checked all deleted messages, pictures, and they leaked pretty much all his messages. All right? Did any of the messages, confirm or go hand in hand with anything Vonni said? Not that I seen. But this is how it stopped. Defendant Banks sent a text message and a voice recording telling his co-conspirators that an affiliate of TB's, who is Quando Rondo, that's his name, TB, his initials, reached out to squash the rivalry. So we got Quando Rondo now reaching out to Durk to squash the beef, right? But we was told by OTF Vonni's dad that allegedly OTF Vonni went down to Savannah, Georgia to drop a bag off to Little Tim. But we got nobody testifying and saying anything about that. Why is that? But anyways, Quando Rondo is reaching out, texting Durk for peace in a voice message. His exact words, he reached out to squash the rivalry and asked for peace. Defendant Banks told his co-conspirators he rejected the peace offering. So they got messages of Durk telling other people how he rejected the offering and explained everything that, went down. He said, I'm not hopping on the phone. He rejected the peace offer, stating, I'm not hopping on the phone to squash a rivalry because this is for D-Thang and King Von. All right? So first of all, I'm thinking in my head, why is he telling Quando Rondo this is for D-Thang and King Von? Let's keep it 100% now. He would have said, well, if this was for King Von or whatever, your homie from OTF dropped me a bag to do this. Am I right or wrong? These are private, personal, one-on-one text messages. And they do not corroborate with OTF Vonni's story at all. Why is Quando Rondo begging to squash the beef and all that if he was allegedly paid or told or set up to do this? You know what I'm saying? And then Lil Durk replies, no, this is for King Von, in bold letters. You know what I mean? Not, this is for me to prosper in music. This is for my album to sell. No, I'm throwing my life away for King Von. So I just want to throw that shit out the window, that Lil Durk had nothing to do with setting up King Von. Open your eyes, y'all. He just threw his whole life away for King Von, for sliding for Von. And the text messages say it. We don't see no sneaky snake shit. Do we? Look at what Durk actually told this man, chat. So, he said, he continued. This is Quando Rondo's voice message, chat. What's up, Starty, man? I gotta wrench you up. So, Quando Rondo texted Lil Durk after all this in a voice message and said, call me about peace. That's how worried, that's how much the pressure was on, that, Quando Rondo texting him to call him about peace. You know what Durk replied? Look at it right here in the bottom. He said, call me about taking a piece of the switch. Durk said, take the piece of the switch, he said, referring to a machine blank, like the one used in the conspirators to kill SR initials, unlive SR. Now, SR is Lil Pop, Quando's, blood cousin. So the feds are saying he told Quando after he asked for peace, for him to take this piece, the same piece that was used in his cousin's murder. That's very brutal. So, used by conspirators, to take out SR on August. Voice message defendant Banks sent to a conspiracies immediately. Hold on, we got a few more messages. So, for people to tell me Durk was involved in setting up Von, now that this stuff is out, it looks even more like BS. Now, if you want to give the narrative that only OTF Vonni might have knew about it, then that shit still don't make sense. And I'll tell you why in a second. So the next one says, resulting in SR's murder and the conspiracy continued after Lil Pop's unalive, especially following the murder of Lil Pop. The co-conspirators took steps to conceal their role in Lil Pop's unalive and continued to seek the unalive of Quando as revenge for King Von. Banks and other co-conspirators' actions after the unalive are not only direct evidence to prove the continuation is a conspiracy, but the evidence is also critical to show so they're saying pretty much that this whole thing proves him rejecting the peace offer. What happened to Little Pop is all retaliation to what happened to King Von. Are y'all with me? Now, not once did I hear Quando Rondo say what freaking OTF Vonni Dad is throwing his son under the bus for. Oh, y'all guys are the one that paid me to do this. Y'all set me up to do this. Wouldn't that be the only right thing to say? He over there begging for peace, to squash the beef. Durk just wants retaliation for King Von. How you gonna want retaliation for somebody that you threw under the bus, that you was involved in setting up? Make that make sense, chat. Go ask OTF Vonni's dad that. And go ask him, why does a Muslim want to accept blood money for? Ask him that. Let's read the last message. And there's more, but I'm not going to show y'all the whole thing. This text message crystallized his intent. Defendant Banks retaliated. He rejected the peace offering and made clear he still wanted TB. Now, TB is Quando Rondo. So why does he still want TB? King Von. And your homie TB's rap name can unalive, Durk quoted. Defendants Banks and Wilson and other conspirators also discussed the conspiracy in a text thread titled The Family. For example, on August 23rd, 2023, the co-conspirators discussed they're suspicious that PW1 was ready to snitch. That might have been Jam on them. Trial X using the same family chat defendant Banks. So what here tells you that Lil Durk had part in setting up King Von, now that we're in a trial and everything's coming out, or that OTF Vonni did it? OTF Vonni would be in a damn hot seat. So OTF Vonni drove down there, according to OTF Vonni's dad, allegedly, dropped a bag off in Savannah, bring a car full of people, but ain't not a lick of evidence. Nobody say nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? But Durk goes and gets all this get back for King Von. It makes no dang sense to me. Thank you, Stoddy. Let me rant you up, brother. How you doing today? There you go. So where's OTF Vonni's dad now? Why ain't he doing the interviews? Bringing up these text messages that were just leaked. Look, I told y'all guys this. I told y'all guys that. Notice this man didn't show a lick of evidence. Nothing. Where's Trench's News at now, allegedly talking about this situation? What's going on, Dragon Love? I see you. Y'all know what I'm saying? So, like I was saying, why it don't make sense for OTF Vonni to just do it on himself without Lil Durk knowing, and listen to me, because this is 100% fact, is because Quando Rondo is talking to Durk directly. If something shady went on like that in his camp, and, you know, Little Tim and, you know, freaking Quando was acting on orders given from an OTF member that paid, then Quando would have said that. You know what I'm saying? He's being transparent with Durk, asking him for peace. This was around when Durk was kind of doing the peace movement, but not was fully with it. So he said, you want to push peace over this stuff. Durk, nah, get a piece of this switch. That don't sound like a man that, had something to do with throwing this man under the bus or anything. That sound like a man that's serious about his homeboy. You know what I'm saying? And then that was, he said a bunch of other things like, are you serious, Quando? Durk said, go ahead, do your shows. But that was his chance to say, your own people was the one that told me to do it. You know what I mean? That might have gave Durk a little, gave him a little leeway, Quando. And then took this shit out on the person who did it, if that was true. That's what makes sense to me, and that's what would happen in a real life situation. You're not going to have somebody's brother come pay you to knock off his other brother, and then you're asking him for peace because you don't want beef no more. You want to squash the beef, but you don't bring up the fact that you was paid to do all this. Does that make sense to you? You don't bring up the fact, allegedly, if it's true, that you was paid by an OTF member to do all this, and that's why you did it. Not just because young boy had beef with freaking King Von, and you just pulled up to the club at 2 a.m. and got out the car. Come on now. OTF Vonni allegedly throwing everybody under the bus anyways. So that's another reason why not just you throwing everybody under the bus. Ain't you the person that just, your dad saying you the one that paid for this? Your dad over there saying on lives, you went over there Savannah and dropped the bag off to little Tim. He's seen it with his own eyes. Now I got a few problems with that. Why you capping so much as a Muslim? Why you worried about getting blood money as a Muslim? Whether it was illegally attained or not, you should not want nothing to do with it. And I'm not even Muslim, I'm Catholic. And then I don't know the reason or the motives for throwing your son under the bus, but after seeing those little text messages, and there's more of them, y'all go check them out, it don't add up to me. I don't see Lil Durk at all trying to get King Von out the way for whatever reason, so he can surpass him, so he can get more clout for Illuminati, whatever your damn theories is. When he goes this hard, he threw his whole damn life away to slide for Von. Can you guys not see that? The same people saying, Durk snitched on Von during the pew pew in Atlanta. No, he didn't. But anyways, how you doing today, Dragonfly? But anyways, we need that boy OTF Vonni to answer some questions. His dad. I don't want to hear nothing from OTF Vonni. That man dropping a dime on everybody. Now, if he did what his dad said, he should be dropping a dime on himself. Before anybody did anything, you allegedly dropping a bag on King Von, which I don't believe that. You know King Von more than Durk. Then Durk gonna side with you on that? If that's true, nah, don't believe it. And if he's saying Durk was behind it, I for sure don't believe it. So like I said, in what world we live in, is Quando Rondo gonna ask to squash the beef, ask for peace, and Durk's gonna say you can get a piece of the switch. Like, I'm gonna say, homie, are you serious? You paid me. You told me to come here. You know what I mean? You told me to do this. What's going on, Rob? So I highly doubt OTF Vonni's dad gonna take the stand and say anything, because that man gonna choke like B Rabbit on 8 Mile. What's going on? Together we break chains. How you doing today? Happy Saturday. God bless. What's going on, Rob? Starting to rain, huh? Yeah. Nah, I'm not trying that. Yeah, it's been raining the last couple of days.
Oh, shit. Dude.
What's go? Oh, you're good? I thought you said you ain't good. So I was just talking about how, you know, Vonni's dad was going around telling everybody King Von did this, Lil Durk did this, his son did that. But we got some evidence finally, because he ain't give us a lick of nothing. And the evidence from the court says the absolute opposite of everything he was saying. You got Quando Rondo sending voice messages to squash the beef and ask for peace. And you got Durk saying, take a piece of my switch. Does that sound like somebody who had involvement? That's not the conversation you had. If you had involvement with somebody, it's going to go a different way than, oh, let's squash this. What they got beef over? You know what I mean? Make it make sense.
A lot of people are getting shit. I don't get it.
You don't need gas to be an airhead, daddy. Just be yourself. So yeah, that was very big statements for OTF Vonni to come online and make. Give us his word, especially as a Muslim. And then I'm reading these text messages that were leaked, which you can't fake. And I'm like, the math ain't mathing up. Why would Quando be asking to squash a beef that you guys, you know, started? Make it make sense without him even bringing that part up.
Dude, that fills your brain up with all the stuff that that's not.
Yeah, I know what I'm saying.
Through your system because you're not reading. It all collects in your brain.
And then the feds are saying in the next page that they could tell, since the unaliving of his cousin, him asking for peace, that this was all for the revenge of King Von. So like I said, this man did not throw his whole life away and have something to do with the demise of King Von. I don't know what OTF Vonni's dad is smoking. And if he's just trying to say his son only knows about it, that still makes 0 sense. Because Quando Rondo would have told him straight up in that text message that was between him and Durk in the voice message, listen, the person in your camp was the one that told me to do it. Let's use common sense now. But I'm going to leave it there. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe, and go check out the next video. And we live every day, y'all.
Yo, I thought you was talking to somebody. I didn't know you